Good evening, folks. I would like to do a demonstration and a short review of SIP's 9-inch and 6-inch welding angle clamps. I got them a few days ago. I've used them for quite a few welds and I gotta say they're pretty good. I'm glad to report. I'll start with the 9-inch angle clamp, so-called, I think, because it is a 9-inch square if you went around the whole body. It's about 12 or 14 kilos, robust, well built, all cast, aside from, I would imagine, the screw. Copper coated anti-splatter screw on both. The surfaces here where the steel sits against are machined flat and they appear to have a perfectly acceptable finish. It's certainly not a smooth finish by any means, or not a baby smooth finish, but it's flat and appears to be perfectly acceptable to me anyway. From what I've used them for a few welds and all is good. 6-inch, so-called, I believe, because the body of it would fit into a 6-inch square roughly. Also robust, cast, well built, and the surfaces also machined flat and seem to be pretty good. The 9-inch was €80 and the 6-inch was €60. So they're not cheap tools by any means, but they're good tools and they're indispensable really, because I was fooling around for the last God knows how long with magnets, and Jesus, those things are a pain in the bollocks. They've got a purpose, but if you're trying to set up a frame or a gate, I've got a couple of gates here behind me that I'm in the middle of making. I've got the frames done, and if you want to set up the 4 angles at the same time, 4 90-degree angles, and you're trying to use magnets, you could end up with a parallelogram quite easily. It's a real pain. So something like this that holds them solid is great. I'm delighted I bought these. I'm going to buy 2 more, in fact. I'll probably buy them before I post this video, because maybe they'll sell out in Ireland. Okay, let's talk shop. The 9-inch has a capacity of 100 millimeters. Yeah, you could get 200 millimeter, two 4-inch 4x4 inch tubes into this thing. The smaller clamp has, needless to say, a smaller capacity. You could do 65, 70 mil, I guess. I know for a fact that 75 mil tube won't go in, not 2 parts anyway, because I tried to do it. I tried to weld some and it wouldn't work. That's fair enough, I think. The business end of these things. So here is some 75 mil square tube. I cut the miters on my chop saw. Here's one I made earlier, kind of deal. And it's just so handy to be able to offer these things up. And clamp them tight. There's good old clamping pressure there. You can get a couple of tack welds on. You can flip her over, get a couple of tack welds on the back. You know yourself. I guess you could use the thing upside down actually. If you wanted to ensure everything was flat on your work surface, you could use these clamps upside down. I did it yesterday and worked pretty well. No problems there. Still a bit of a gap here at the moment, more likely the angle of my saw. If I get out my digital wangle finder, I can show you that these pieces clamped are she's reading 90.3 and 90.3 there. this is a cheap gauge. I'm sure there's a percentage error to be considered. And here's some 2-inch or 50mm clamped in the 6-inch version. I apologise for the noise and the banging. Maybe that makes the video hard to watch, but it's unavoidable. It's my first video. So it's quite tricky what I'm doing here. You know, if you're working this thing on a flat surface, you have to pull the handbar through there every time. I would like to put a hex nut on the end so I could use a battery drill driver and to open and close it. That would make things pretty easy. So there's the 50mm clamped, you know, bang bang, tack tack, flip it over, tack tack, Bob's your uncle. You know, it's going to really speed things up for me. Angles 89.9 degrees, Jesus Christ, that's good enough for me anyway. And 90 degrees on the nose, 89.9, 89.9 and a half on the inside. What more could you ask for the work I'm doing? It's absolutely more than adequate. It's definitely more accurate than I was getting with the magnets. One feature I really like about these two, because I didn't know which one to buy, the 6-inch or the 9-inch. I wasn't quite sure how big they were going to be. Problem is, with SIP's tools, it's impossible to find a product video. They don't do videos. They're crazy. SIP have a YouTube channel, but it's sparsely populated. It's really, really bad. I can't believe that that they don't do a product video for every tool. It's insane, because largely their tools are quite good. I've got a couple of bits and pieces. I've got an SIP welder, a little stick welder, an inverter welder. I find it great. I've been using it for a few years. I've got an SIP pillar drill that I received lately, a B2016, that I will do a demonstration and review of in a couple of weeks when I've used it a bit more. And so far I'm reasonably impressed with it, for the money anyway. I do have an SIP bench grinder, a 6-inch bench grinder, half horsepower, that I hate. It's really only good for topping pencils. It's really crap. Anyway, sorry, my rant. Even though they're different sizes, the beds of both tools are the same height. That is to say that if you want to use both of these, if you want to do two 90-degree bends back to back, you can lay a piece across here and she's going to be level, you know. There's no height disparity between the two, which I think is a great feature. I'm going to buy 2 more of these. I'm going to buy another big one and another small one, and that'll equip me to do most jobs. It's pretty handy. Angles, 0 this baby. We have 90.2 degrees between those flats. We have 90.2 degrees between those flats. Good enough for me. We have 89.9 degrees between those flats and 90.1 degrees between those flats. I'm calling that 90 on all counts. I think that is great. I'm not sure there's too much more I can say. The things work great. I'm really glad I bought them. I'm going to buy 2 more. I would recommend them to anybody. So happy shopping and happy welding. I'll hopefully see you in another video. Adios.